A lot of recruitment agency owners do not know that they are losing so much money by not implementing these systems that I'm about to show you. Because here's the thing, if recruiters spend so much time on admin work, though it reduces the time that they can spend doing things that actually help scale the company. And here's the thing that most recruitment agency owners don't know. The recruitment agencies that are currently making $1 million per year are not doing anything different from what you are doing. But what they do have is systems that take a load of the work away from them so that they can put their energy and focus on building and scaling the business. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you a few of the automations that I just recently added to my recruitment, agency systems that will help every recruitment agency cut down at least 15 hours per week that their recruiters are currently spending on admin work, thereby giving them back that 15 hours so that they can put that back into recruiting and actually building relationships with their clients as well as their candidates. So if you run a recruitment agency, you want to stick around because some of these systems are very high-end systems that will save your recruiters time. So the first one that we are going to look at here is the AI recruitment coordinator. Most times in your website, if you allow clients to submit their vacancies, you know how tedious it is for your recruiters to go in and copy those vacancies, try to write the job description for those vacancies, write out the things that they need, everything, and then upload it into the job boards for candidates to go in and apply. You already know how much time it takes recruiters to do that. So what if your recruiters had a system that would do that for them, and that way give them back that 3 to 4 hours every day that they spend doing that work? So that is what the simple system does. This one works with email, but it will still be the same idea and the same way or same flow for if you were working with a form from your website. Like on your website, you allow candidates to you allow clients to upload their vacancies. So what it would do is wherever the data is coming from, so we allow clients to fill a form to submit their vacancies, or we give them an email to send their vacancies to. In this case, we're giving them emails that they should send their vacancy to, right? So once the email drops or once the new information drops, we have an AI module pick up that data and extract all of the information that we need. Like in here, we need the company name, the job title, the location, the employment type, the required skills, the years of experience, the start date, the visa requirements, whether it's an hybrid or remote role, whatever we might need, we are going to have AI extract all of that for us. And once it does, it goes in to use that to create a new job for us in our job database. Of course, 9 out of 10 recruitment agencies have this job database connected to their job board. So once this new job is created in our job database, it also shows up in our job board. So we have the second here, the AI module here, that writes a very like we say here, recruitment consultant. So it writes this job description as a recruitment consultant. So it goes ahead to write a professional job description for that particular job, and of course puts that back into our record or into our database. So now instead of recruiters to spend 3-4 hours scanning through emails of vacancies to get the job to get the company name, the job type, the employment type, the salary, everything, and also be have to go in and write do research to write their job description, we have the system running this instantly to get our job description and our job out there in the job market. With a system like this, our recruiters get back at least 15 hours that they spend per week on writing job descriptions and all of that. And we also make more money because when we are able to upload a job as soon as they come, candidates know to always come to our job board to get jobs. Because I've seen recruitment agencies that struggle to put out jobs on their job board because it takes a lot of time. It takes time to write a job description, do the research to get the job description right, because most recruiters are not in some of those specialist firms that, or specialist specialist spaces that are trying to recruit for. Say you are trying to recruit for tech, a lot of these recruiters are not in tech, so they have to do research, understand everything about that before they can go in and write the job description. Same goes to doctors and all of that, right? So recruiters are just recruiting, but now they have to do the research to find out how terminologies and everything about the job that they are trying to place candidates for, and then they can actually now go in to write the job description. So you can see that would take recruiters at least 3 hours every day to be able to write a very good and professional looking job description. But a system like this takes back that gives the recruiter back that 3 hours, and they can use that to actually go and search for candidates or actually go and search for clients. So now they use actually hours to do something or work on a task that brings them money, in this case finding clients. So this system here will give back recruiter sometimes so that they can go in and meet clients and make more money for the recruitment agency. So of course this system is a two-part system. This is the part one of the system that actually just goes in, gets the job details, and then goes in to create a job on the job board. The part two takes care of matching candidates against this job that we have posted. So most times, most recruitment agencies that I know have like a talent pool. So when you go on their website, you can upload your CV, and then they have it in their database. Whenever a new job comes in, a recruiter has to manually go through that database to find the best fit, the candidates are the perfect match for that, and reach out to the candidate, right? But this system stops the recruiter from manually doing that. So what the system does is it watches for every time we create a new job in our job board. So that means we have a new job that we are trying to fill. So it goes in and search our clients, our candidates database to find candidates that are still pending. So it is important. So what we did do put into consideration here is that we have like a global, candidates database. So it's going to have like candidates that we are interviewing already, candidates that we have placed already, candidates that have received job offers, candidates at different journey stages in our recruitment firm. So but here we are only trying to pick candidates that are still pending, candidates that are yet to be placed. So once we find those candidates, we use AI to kind of match or screen what their details, screen their CV, their job, their CV, their skills, their experience, everything about them, right? So we use AI to screen those details that they have against our job description, and then we'll find, and then we'll see if they are a good match. If they are a good match, we go in and create their name in our matches database. So we have a database that we call a matches database. So what is database held is candidates that we have matched, because this is good data for businesses to have, for recruitment agencies to have, because you want to know how many candidates you have matched to a job and how many you ended up placing, right? So that will give you data of, oh, okay, we have a very good success rate here. Whenever we match candidates, we always end up getting the jobs, right? So once we do that, once we create the candidates in our matches database, we go in and draft a message that we are going to send to the candidates, telling them about the new job that just came in. So we go in and create a draft. So I made it a draft because I want the recruiter to still have, like I always say, recruiters in recruitment agencies should hire. They should have the hiring decision, the interviewing, like every decision when it comes to decisions fronting, or when it comes to decisions concerning the candidate or the clients, the recruiter has to do that. So we created a draft because we need the recruiter to go in, review the email, be sure that it's good enough for the candidates. If it is good enough, the recruiter can actually now forward the email. So once we are able to forward the email to the recruiter, we now so once we create the draft for the recruiter to go and review, we notify the recruiter, of course, that there is a new match for the job. Go and review this. So once a recruiter gets, so this is the only thing that a recruiter does, receive this message in our communication tool. I use Slack here because I find that Slack is much common with recruitment firms, but depending on what you use that here. So now the only thing that a recruiter does is to receive the message of the match and then go in, review this email, send it out. Now the recruiter spends max 5 to 10 minutes matching candidates instead of the manual way that most recruitment agencies currently do, where they have to recruiter has to spend 3 to 4 hours scanning through the database, finally manually matching, reading the candidate's portfolio and matching to a job, right? So this just cuts down on that admin work, because that's actually admin work, right? You really just want to be talking to candidates that are qualified for a job. You really don't want to go and start scanning and finding the candidates. You just want to talk to candidates that are qualified, so that way you just spend less time on candidates screening or candidate CV reading, and just move over to recruiting, because that is what recruiters should do. Recruiting, this is our main work, and this is work that system should do. So a system like this will save a recruiter at least 15 hours every week, so that they can put back those hours into doing things that will help scale the company to $1 million. Because like I said, we are trying to scale our recruitment agency to $1 million. So for us to be able to do that, we have to cut down on a lot of the operational work that we force our recruiters to do, so that they can focus on bringing in new clients for us and placing more candidates, so that we can scale the business. So that is the part two of the recruitment coordinator. So the next system that we have here is the candidates post placement check-in. I already made a detailed video on how to build this. If you didn't watch that, I will link it in the description. And this is something that also costs a lot of recruitment agency referrals. And when you lose referrals in your recruitment agency, you are losing money, right? Especially recruitment agencies that are relationship driven. You want to be able to hold down your candidates so that they trust you enough to want to refer their friends, their family, or whoever in their circle is trying to get a job. So what the system does is to watch for all of our candidates that we have placed. So it watches and finds out, the candidates that we have already placed for a role, and then it goes in to message them 7 days after they have been placed, 30 days after they have been placed, and 180 days after they have been placed. That means 1 week after placement, 1 month after placement, and 6 months after placement. So what are we basically doing? Just checking in with them to see if the job is a good fit, the job is well for them, whatever, does it fit into what they have always wanted, and all of that. We are also encouraging them to give us feedback. With a system like this, we're also encouraging them to give us feedback, because the more feedback they give us, the more we can optimize our operations, our placement abilities, so that we can place more candidates and be able to scale our recruitment agency to $1 million. So this system will do two things: get us feedback and also get us in the minds of those candidates, and that way bringing us referrals from those candidates, right? So this is the part one, which is the candidate placement system. So the second one that we are going to have is the feedback analysis. So when they finally respond to our email where we message them asking them how the job is going, if they really like the job, or if they have any feedback for us, if they respond to our feedback, this system takes care of that feedback. So it analyzes the feedback and see if they have the sentiment around the feedback. So are they okay with the job? Do they hate the job? Do they want to be placed with another job? So this system just takes care of that depending on what the analysis is. So if we analyze what they sent to us and it's really like, the job is not that bad, I love it here, it's a good job. If we get things like, I love it here, this is a good job, so what we are going to do, oh, thank you for the feedback, we really appreciate that you're enjoying your job, and we'll keep in touch, right? But if they're like, oh, the job is not so good, I don't know, like it's really not a good, like the perks that I was promised, I have not gotten it, then we want to find the recruiter that plays the candidate, and then we tell the candidate, don't worry, the recruiter is going to get back to you, right? So that way the recruiter can find time, reach out to the candidates, find out the main issue, and also be able to maybe reach out to the client company to sort out the problem and all of that. Because the most important thing and the one job of a recruitment agency is to make sure that you have successfully placed candidates in their dream role. That is the work of a recruitment agency. So whatever comes in the way of that is things that we need to remove. An example is if candidates that we have placed don't like the job, they're not okay with the job didn't come through with what they had promised, or the pay. So like, okay, we're going to give them devices, give the candidates devices and all of that. And when the candidate started the job, the candidate didn't get that. We need to get back to the client company to be able to sort out that. And then in this last side, if the candidate responds with things like, I hate this job, I want to leave, I'm looking for other alternatives, then we want to jump on a call real quick with that candidate, because that's an emergency. We need to actually find out why that is, so that we can maybe reach out to the client's company and be like, our candidate is not okay with your company, how do we fix this and all of that. So this really just helps us be able to, like I said again, maintain that relationship with our candidates even after they have been placed, so that we can get them to trust us and refer their friends, refer their family that are trying to get into jobs. So this system here is a system that will help us get at least 2 more candidates from a candidate that we have placed, which is something that a lot of recruitment agencies don't currently have and are not currently doing, because manually it takes a lot of time to go in, find candidates that you have placed, reach out to them. Imagine if you have 100 candidates that you have placed, it becomes taxi to reach out to them. So that's why systems like this are important in recruitment agencies, because it helps you still maintain the quality of work as if like you had at least 1,000 recruiters, while cutting down on your overall head count, and thereby being able to make more money and scale the agency to $1 million. The next system that we had here is the screening system. So this system just takes care of screening a candidate, as opposed to the first one that works with a job board when a job is posted. This one works with when a a candidate applies for a job, right? So different agencies have different ways that they work. So this particular one just works with a recruitment agency that allows candidates to apply for jobs. So this one works with candidates that apply for jobs on our job board, and the other one that I showed you works with the already existing the talent pool, but this one works with new candidates that are coming in. So when a new candidate sees a new role and applies, they automatically come into our database, and of course they upload their CV as well. So their CV goes into our our storage as well. In this case, our drive as well. So in this case, I use Google Drive, but depending on your company, what you're already using, you might be using Dropbox, you might be using whatever you're using, right? It goes in there. So once it goes in there, we extract all the details of the CV that I've uploaded, and then we extract all the details from their CV, and then extract all the key points like their skills, their experience, everything about them. And once we do that, we go ahead and create them in our database, because it's always important that we have all the candidates that have applied for a job in our database. So now that they are in our database, the next thing that we are going to do is search our job database to find the job that they applied for. So once we find the job that they have applied for, we now use AI to match the job description to their own skills and their own skill set, experience, and everything. And depending on what we get, if they are not good enough, we go ahead and update their status to not qualified. And if they are qualified enough, we go ahead and update their status to qualify. And once we are done doing that, we notify the recruiters in our in our communication platform. In this case, I'm using Slack, right? So we notify that. So this particular system now takes care of extracting takes care of two things: extracting CVs or extracting candidate CVs when they submit, and also taking care of screening those CVs and matching them against the job description. And this is something that a lot of recruitment agencies currently do manually, and this takes them at least 3 to 4 hours from getting the details of the candidates that just applied for a job, extracting all the important details from their CV and putting them in our candidates database, and then matching them matching their CV to the job that they applied for. That would take a good recruiter, even the best recruiter, 2 hours to do. But this system just cuts down those 2 hours, because now the recruiter only ends up seeing the match score that the candidate has, and can now decide if they want to reach out to the candidate. If the candidate is qualified, they will decide if they want to reach out for an interview or get more details that they don't have, or anything that they basically want to do. Because like I always say, the recruiters are still going to have the recruiting decisions, the hiring decision, the everything else that concerns direct interface with candidates or clients will still be taken care of by the recruiter. But it's just that the admin work and the operational work just becomes lighter. Example: this system right now, recruiters no longer have to spend 15 hours per week doing this. They can actually just spend 3 hours, even less, per week, just matching candidates to CVs, which manually takes 15 hours. So now with a system like this, recruiters can cut down the time that they spend matching CVs to job description, and actually spend their time interviewing candidates and placing them in their dream role. And also with that, be able to scale the business to $1 million. So yeah, that's mostly what I have for today. I have a couple more, but this video is getting long. Maybe I will do like a part 2, also breaking down other systems that recruitment agencies need to scale their business to $1 million. I really hope you found this series useful, and I'm going to be seeing you in my next one. Do have a wonderful day.